East Meadows. You don't have to. Are you talking about my Meadows?
Not
Okay.
right.
More across from old bowling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is.
Midwest.
Tell me,
Midwest.
Well, I've been, honestly, I looked it up on Beacon and I've looked at the subdivision, but not like through it out. So I do kind of, but not. But I'm also terrible with directions. I didn't look it up.
I got too much. My wife, go around driveway, we get down here, still don't have.
Well, okay, but if I have been somewhere, I can get back there. It's only if I have.
Do that.
She don't know if she's in east or west.
Okay, that's true. I also truthfully haven't really got my left right. So, yeah, I know. And sometimes I have to do that left.
Call the Utility Service Board meeting Monday, August 16th. Order, we will begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Andrew, roll call whenever you're ready.
Rick Van, President. Joe Root, President. Mike Reeder,
Present.
Kid Brewer,
President.
Mike Kelly.
Present. We have 2 minutes. We'll take the special Utility Service Board meeting of August 2nd minutes first. Any comments or a motion to approve is presented?
I'll make a motion we approve the August the 2nd special board meeting minutes.
I'll second that. Motion and second by Mike and Rick. Roll call.
Joe Root.
Aye.
Rick Van.
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Kid Brewer, Mike Kelly.
Aye. Now we'll do the Utility Service Board meeting of August 2nd, the regular meeting.
Make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion by Joe,
I'll second that.
second by Ken. Roll call.
Rick Van. Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Joe Root.
Aye.
Kid Brewer.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Public participation, nothing that I can see. Auditor?
Nothing really to report, business as usual.
Stacy?
We have just continued to scan all of our old customer information into our current system in our real time, and we've been working on the stormwater.
A lot of those have been closed up, right? I mean, as far as. Questions?
We need to leave this on the opening business for the time being, or catching up close enough on that. I'd like to hear that. You got the emails back from what you said.
I don't know what the red text means, and I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what was found last Wednesday, so.
That email was sent last Thursday, I believe, wasn't it, or was it Friday? With the update, with your newest ones, and you should have gotten that one. If not, we can forward it to you again.
It's Thursday.
I didn't see it.
It's Thursday.
Was at the bottom of
The same day you sent it out,
You got it
we
back.
got back that afternoon.
We'll be here for a while, just checking.
actually, Stacy and I, on that morning that we got, that it was sent, we worked on it.
Yeah, we're excluded in some emails and we'll do this one.
I went over and we sat down and went through it.
But the red is just respondents of,
Who's
Well,
paying
it's
it, and who, what they paid.
and yeah, what, if it was grass
How
or
much they're being billed, how many ERUs they're being billed, what the dollar amount is that they're being billed. And if that's on there, you're being billed and how it's stated.
So you're talking about the email you had sent on 12, is that correct?
Yes, 12.
Can you give me the verbal one over this? I mean, is there anybody, as I recall, the last group included the battery factory next time?
There was,
Have they
have
been
been a-
We're already aware of that.
Well, I know you're aware of it. Have they been billed?
did you change the address where you set it this time?
Those are the kind of things we're looking for.
The one was a lot of Norfolk Southern, right?
That
They
was
were,
one great big one that had the picture, no information to be found. I talked to Beth Keeney about it, and she believed it. She said it would be really hard to find information. So she was out of the office today.
and Sarah get us the contact information where we have to pay Norfolk Southern for our power lines.
I think we just subtracted from there.
Well, but we
Yeah.
don't even know for sure who owns that area.
Because it's part of the roundhouse.
Yeah,
and
there's
there's-
Shannon Sheridan and David Little have worked on this for about 10 years. They'll certainly have contact information for property. And this goes way back, probably 15, 20 years. My recollection. But I'm of the mind, if we're paying that railroad, the fees due them, and they're not paying us, so fees due us, there's some work to be done. I don't, to use the plain words, I don't want to be railroaded. That's pretty bad.
Chris, you got a comment?
We charge it for private hydrants, so we might be able to find out who approves that. So
Good. Good.
anything you, Stacy?
Jim, well, I
That might be the easiest way to find it. But actually, out of the list, that's the only one that is not being billed and or not subject to stormwater
There
fees.
was one other one, and I know Jim did me a favor and went out and measured both of the areas on, Thursday or Friday, whatever day, whatever day we worked on that Thursday. And got me the measurements, so I already have the other, I forget which one it is, without listening for me, but, do you remember which other one I had you? Oh, the one, turns out they were being billed. It was the one back, Warner's buildings.
Oh, yeah, because all we, the 600 North Williams.
He went and measured it for me, and I looked in our system, and by the measurements he gave me, plus all three of those parcels together, they are being billed exactly what they should be being billed. And then the other one, he went and measured it for me, so I have the measurements as soon as we figure out who to bill.
And see here, you noted that XI, it says billed as of July 21. Right.
July 2021, we sent them a bill for July and August.
We didn't ever see July 21. So at what point in the process does that age far enough along that the next step is appropriate?
Once they don't pay for 60 days, we go to the next thing.
So you're monitoring that timeline. Well, it seems, to answer Ken's question, it seems to me, at least in properties, and I looked at properties that obviously were only grass, would not have been built. Combination property, I looked at all kinds of properties, and it's behind this one, 40% properties. It seems to me like this having been stuck for several years, it's now seems to be unsafe. And I would be comfortable turning it over to the billing office, and assuming you're going to keep doing what you're doing. Unless anyone else is kind of stuff they're concerned about, I'm good.
Andrew, unless if I forget to take it off next time.
They're okay. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Bill, your turn.
The roof on the new building is complete. We'll be together with the roof for the next couple of days, and do a punch list, but it's more or less complete. We have one line curve up on the county line road, 200 west, with a 12 stand, two phase, and the one with the set up. Another crew up east changed out single phase poles, cleaned up. And then over the weekend, we lost some underground and timberline states. Some of the temporary underground. So we're going to replace between 12 and 1,500 feet of that. That's going to be undertaken all the time. I can locate the amount of paint on the transformer we got to get in out of it. It's a big top of it. It's challenging to get into that. And the other thing I have for you tonight is I'd like to ask the board permission to replace a 2019 2002 International two-man bucket truck. This bucket truck is remade. The engine remains sealed in the engine, so when that goes, that means the engine has to be pulled. Just start snowballing and tear it back. We replaced the bucket rotator motor a few weeks ago, and this truck is old enough. It's an MTI. MTI is done sold out, and we were lucky enough to get a bucket rotator. That cost us around $2,000, and it's in line for what's called full power rebuilds. Basically, sent somewhere, still full of original hoses. All the hoses need to be taken out of it. Power needs to be rebuilt. The truck doesn't have much value to do the age. These trucks are hard to get rid of because they're so old. The dealer doesn't want to take them on trade, and the contractors, they don't like buying anything less than 2016. So we took estimates, got bids, and had a truck come in that the guys used. And then they couldn't get a hold of another demonstrator truck from the first lift. So they went, the salesman took them up north to IMC, went through the truck, and was able to get in and fly it. That's the truck that I'd like to do with. UTE utility truck equipment. Once they received the purchase order, if you approve the line to get a purchase order tomorrow, we have a truck in 310, 350,000. If we go to another company, it's going to be 580 days.
Basically,
The UTE truck is the versatile. We have two small trucks now. The tree truck we just got is versatile. We're trying to get everything in the shop the same. Years ago, it was Deco. Everything was Deco. Mechanics train on the parts and we get everything basically the same in the shop. And the Versalift is more of a customized truck, comes with all the bells and whistles. Square booms, turbo handling truck, which means you can take handfuls of change out to get on the personal trucks. The booms are stronger than any installation value. The old booms, that's the limit. We sit down with us and customize bins, the rubber goods, the chainsaws, hoist, and stuff like that, just to try to utilize more bin space. We get better to keep good housekeeping.
So we have that in down.
No, you get your purchase order, you might pay any money to we receive the truck.
What's it cost to?
$268,000. 68.
Even?
Yes.
Just motion then.
Purchase order.
But,
The salesman, if I want to add this, the salesman is Mick Wilson. He's in here checking us all the time. He's pretty hands-on with going to the problem, and come down and try to fix it. Yeah, that's good.
Is this something that we can look at it to at least get? Yeah, a year. Yeah, but that we got a year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I talked to the lease company, and if we would want to lock in now, at 2.3, I think, in 2.7 or 2.3, we could do that and then make the first payment in a year by the time the truck got here. Or we could roll the dice and see what it is. I can't believe it's going to go skyrocket, something, but there are ways to do that with like improvements.
You said 268,000. Do we need to do a formal bid process
We do.
for public purchasing over $150,000?
So we have to
do
advertise.
the invitation for bids, advertise, whole shebang.
For purchasing,
Special equipment we do.
If special equipment, we can maybe get away with an exception if it is, hold on, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. If it's, where only one source meets the reasonable requirements, if the compatibility of equipment, accessories, or replacement parts is a substantial consideration to the purchase, and only one source meets those reasonable requirements, then we can do a special purchasing method. So that's the
Because it's basically being custom built to our specs.
And what I'm hearing is that we need it to match our other equipment,
Yes.
because then we can mechanically work on it,
Yes.
and that it has to be that specific brand, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
So then we could use a special purchasing method, which
okay,
means that we could use whatever the utility service board has set as our special purchasing method, which means whatever you all decide.
we make a motion, we vote.
And that's what we need to do.
So I have a question, I don't have a question about this request, but for example, in Lebanon, they have a schedule of equipment. So I have a list of motorized equipment. The age, item number, they kind of have a plan of, well, in year 2024, this comes out to replacement. I'm wondering if we have the same thing.
We will have, once the budget process goes this year, we'll have that.
Okay,
Phil has started working on that, and that's where we're at, that's why he's trying to get the cart before the horse here and get these things
well,
ordered.
that's the only thing here that would concern me at all, because I don't know what's around the corners. We could have 5 more conversations the rest of this year, it's the same thing over, but then there's 5 trucks being run. So I'm good with that, okay.
You want to take
That's
a tour
good.
of the meeting, Rick? Show you what.
No, we'll work on it. We'll let you go up in it and see if it works.
I don't like that.
Hard time.
Thank you.
In a safe way.
But yeah, that's what Phil's working on.
Good.
You know,
We explain that to the other utilities as well. Okay, good. Sounds like we're getting line.
I think one of the things I would say about that is, that's the reason these things are all coming up like the way they are right now, because that hasn't been done in the past.
Right.
Where there's been a kind of a scheduled or a semi-scheduled replacement of equipment, major equipment. And then suddenly we find out we have three trucks, one in different departments that, because you're gonna hear another one tonight too, so that's just because if you look at all these trucks or all these things we're replacing, they all go back about to the same time too, so.
Well, they're saying just, I know Joe remember this, it wasn't 8 years ago or so that she told the board I wasn't on it. Historically, starting about November 1st, every meeting, if I do this, buy a new truck, two new mowers, yeah, we gotta get 4 copies. It just, the end of the year, we spent, then we got it. So, or they did, so.
they had a philosophy back then that if it was in their budget, they had to spend. Well, that got changed.
Yeah, that was,
The leadership we got today.
I think someone said if it's in your revenue, you might be able to spend it on your budget.
I think one thing too is we have new management in place. We didn't have before.
What's that?
We have new management in place now. That we didn't have
Oh, yeah.
before. We'll bring that to us.
I'll make a motion that we allow Phil to move forward with the first of that. What chassis is that?
Freight liner chassis with 60-foot parallel.
Discussion.
Yeah, I'm done.
Second.
Oh,
You
you
were
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You got the second?
might be.
Rick.
Give it to Rick.
And guys, if you want, I mean, it's gonna be a year before we get it. We could do similar to what we're doing with the line truck. We want to put down, jump, and then wait for the next year. Or I guess the question is, do we want to try to lock in the lower interest rate right now and wait?
Obviously, we'll talk about it a little bit on budgets.
Okay.
But let's, I mean, we don't have to do that.
No, we don't have.
So let's see where we, how the budget's going.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we got plenty of time. If the interest rates start to go up, Stephanie's supposed to get a hold of me to let me know, so we could, okay, we'll make that decision. That's fine.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And then any other discussion? Roll call.
Joe Root.
Aye.
Mike Ritter.
Aye.
Rick Gunion.
Aye.
Tim Brewer.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Shane, have anything for us tonight?
Yes. With the report that the email migration is complete. All done. No more work to do.
Okay. I got a message today that my mailbox is getting full.
Okay.
I don't know what that meant. I mean,
Don't delete it.
well, I know I don't delete anything, but I didn't think we were to delete anything.
So here's the thing, before the migration, we could delete it because deleted it. So
Mhm.
now there's archiving
Oh,
in
okay.
the system. So should something be deleted, it's always going to be online.
Okay.
So technically, something just delete everything. We
All
can
right.
still have access to it.
Okay. I'll fix that.
Once your update was well done, we're expecting that to be the date you were projecting, so. I want to thank you.
Anything else? All right. Let's go with Jim Spirits first, because he's going to ask for.
We did 3 sanitary repairs on Walmart Avenue in the States. So we can sewer clear. And we installed a catch basin and 2 new risers on the doors.
I thought that was a speed bump for Rick's house.
Well, it's not paid yet. It's working real well. I'm gonna move, we don't fill it in. It slows traffic in the street. If the city doesn't pay that street this year. I'm just for it. And we've been working on paving on this Florida Street. We got to flush that yet. And going right in the middle of this. We're gonna dig up, just take the top off, that's what I'm saying, and see what the outlet. We're gonna do that. And replace our 96. We got problems with it with the bed. Got pictures here. So won't latch. We can't shut the gate. So I brought it out in the back and put that. Looked at the international. With the current truck, the auction or sold as surplus property or not? They will not take the trade yet. It's the auction. Past, not this, past, we set it out front of our shop. It's all-
That's they close bids, sealed bids.
Last time I seen a dump truck at the city auction, it went for $3,800.
Well, sealed bids haven't worked out for us very well.
Well, we had talked about that one time. We put, and I thought you looked, I'm going way back here.
Yeah.
we should,
You're gonna.
that we could actually put a minimum bid put a reserve on it.
The problem though, I've done this with another municipality, not with a piece of equipment, but a piece of land. And we literally had, we ended up doing it 5 times. I want to say, never got our minimum bid, and ended up doing it without a reserve, just to get rid of it. And then we have to publish it every single time. So it just doesn't seem like we can do that, but the problem is if we don't hit the minimum bid, then our result is we either lower the bid and do it again, or we end up going without a minimum bid and we end up, we would have saved all the lawyer fees and all the time if we had just done it without that in the first place.
Jim, is that serviceable along with, say, the parts department? Can you use as an export?
Something that will stay at the park, maybe go part to part.
So that's an option.
But as far as us and like fishing tank and stuff.
No, yeah.
All down by having the PJs.
How big is this one? It's an international game.
International. HB 607. And it's 365 degrees. So it's going to be this time next year.
Is it a single axle?
Yes.
So 10, 12.
52,000.
You said it was 99,000.
97.
Just something we look at at least too.
We can, talk to Jim a little bit. We could, if decide to order it, if you guys approve it, we could, when you have the money, then we could go ahead and start to put into depreciation right now and budget for it that way, or get into the budget season, because once again, it's a year, there's no down payment on it either, it's just a verbal. So we have the time to figure that out during the budgets as well, if we want to do it that way. But I was thinking the easiest in this way might be go ahead and start now with $9,000 of the depreciation. And just pay for it, but I'm open to anything right now. What do you think, Ken?
You know my concerns with the wastewater.
Yeah.
Budgets, until I see what they turn in for next year.
Okay.
I think we need to do it.
Right.
With a lease.
Right. Okay.
So
Like I said, we would say they
move
move
forward with electric truck.
okay and get it figured out.
I'll make a motion that we allow Jim to order the truck, financing will be determined later.
We need to get one more quote. For 99,000, we need to invite 3 different people to quote. I really got 2. Yeah.
And that's
well,
not special because it's.
because it's-
intelligent.
Right, because we were, unless there's some specific reason you're gonna tell me that we need to get that one. Then we need to get the quote.
I'll withdraw my motion then.
Thank you. So, if he gets one more, then we can do it next time.
Well,
Second.
He got 2.
Oh, you got 2?
You just need
Oh,
one.
okay, we need 3.
Yes.
That's it.
So you did invite for 3? Okay, then you're fine. As long as you invited 3. As long as you invited 3, we're
Matter
fine.
of fact, that day you said they hadn't gotten back to you.
Yeah, all we have to do is,
I'll rescind my withdrawal and give my motion back.
you just have to have 3.
My
You
second
invite.
is,
The third one was nothing.
what's the second?
Was a no bid.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second by Rick for dump truck. Roll call.
Joe Root.
Aye.
Rick Benyon.
Aye.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Kip Brewer. Mike Kelly.
Aye. PJ.
And what date do you need to know?
not asking for nothing.
Enjoyed my tour the other day, PJ, very much. I cannot believe the amount of concrete
Okay, Chris, no trucks.
that's been put in that place now.
Yeah.
How many years? You can affect the local weather all that concrete.
Honestly, we don't have much. We've been doing a lot of cleaning on the south primary, secondary. And then basic. Our drain cleaning, we started doing those. We're doing one of the aeration tanks tomorrow. Cleaning the aerators for it. We trying to put it off of the secondary aeration tank. We've been so heavy installers the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I have to try to find a place to put them. So we're going to open it for questions for me. But other than that, other cleaning, doing solid. Pretty much.
Did you have to open the, one we'll get them back up before they got rowdy with the storm now? Good.
Now we got 30 plus people cleaning, so
Okay.
hopefully that's not an issue.
Okay.
It should rain in 30 minutes Friday night.
Mhm.
So, on that subject, Wesley preparing the weather for us, providing ask for peaks rate to be dropped to 5.5 instead of 9. And we get the south carrying green level. So, I'm going to do that. So,
I hope not.
Any other questions or?
Okay.
Chris? Fox contracting to start installing the 18-inch water main. Just west of Iron Avenue, Friday and Saturday, and then we got a few hundred feet in and waiting on few more materials and stuff back up on Wednesday. The tower, substantial completion with the August 10th. We're going to be asking for some weather days, which my understanding is that we can just turn around and build back for the RBR hours, start RBR hours that we take. Cover that, but they're expected to be done the week of the 23rd, so the tower. We'll be pouring the on-site generation building footer tomorrow. We've already got the detention tank done and a couple of fluid foundations, so we have to do that to keep it wet for 10 days, so that kind of puts them off onto something else working. That's why that's taking too long. And then we've had several advisories for the Ocean Avenue. Today was Sims and East Street, and tomorrow should wrap up that. Category and looking forward. We got 70 homes out for that one. And then also the miscellaneous fees we passed at the last council meeting. And we're working on sending out a thing to the building office, just have a first version of it. That's something we speak.
Will it identify the new rates?
Yes.
Will it just say we're going up?
No, it'll be the whole chart. That was the you guys-
Resolution. Not the whole resolution.
Yeah.
The schedule.
The schedule.
Yeah. With the description of what it is and everything, same thing as in the resolution and the ordinance that the council has.
Myself from there to contact, make questions. And where.
It'll be a fun back thing.
Mike Bag, do you have a letter for us?
Gave each of you a MS4 packet. And in the packet, there is 5 sections that were given to us by the lady from IBM who was here for the inspection. And on the very front is a response letter prepared by Wesley. I'll briefly go through the packeted bag. Each one of these is separately stapled. So if we start from the front, you'll see highlighted in yellow pollution prevention and good housekeeping. On that particular item, there was one deficiency noted. It's on page 3. And all it was were how our complaints tracked and addressed. And we couldn't show them that we actually had a file or folder to keep the complaints. That we generally just fix whatever the complaint comes from the public, and it's not kept, it's not stored. So that was an easy fix. We fixed that already. The next one is public education and outreach, public participation and involvement. And there were 0 deficiencies on that review. The next one is illicit discharge, detection, and elimination. That's illegal or outfall into the creek. That's illegal. And there was 0 deficiencies on that one. And the next one is when she actually went out to the street department, and the first of the last 2 stapled items is the Frankfurt Street Department. There were 2 deficiencies noted. One is you're supposed to have a copy each department of the stormwater pollution prevention plan in your office, and there wasn't one. So that's already been fixed, that first deficient item. And then the next deficient item is the bottom of that first page. Are all materials stored to avoid runoff or spill? There was a drum out back that belonged to Reeve Riley. And so they came and picked it up. So that's gone, the drum is gone. So that was been taken care of. The next one is the street department recycle facility. So even though the recycle facility is not under the city, it's part of our street department, SWPP. So they had a deficiency that they didn't have a copy of the stormwater pollution prevention plan in their office. So that's been taken care of. And then there was another deficiency on page 2 that was actually an error by the lady. She's marked that washing vehicles at the recycle facility, which of course we don't. So that's fixed in the letter as well. So that's the entire audit, and then the letter is prepared by Michael Ellis from Whistler. You have a copy of it, and he addresses all of those deficiencies in the response letter, just as I described it. So they've all been taken care of. Any questions? Sorry about my voice. Thanks for all the hard work you do in this. No problem, glad to do it.
It's just your voice, you're not feeling ill or.
No, No, and the doctor looked at it and said he doesn't know what the problem is, other than one thing. So I know you can't review all this here at the meeting, so if something comes up after you go through it, just let me know, and I'll answer any questions that you have.
Rick, got any lagoon business tonight?
How you doing?
Todd? You're up.
Okay. Oh,
You said that was the only one that existed, so I didn't want to.
Few things, from the, now that all the migration has been done on the email servers and stuff, we went ahead and built the city for their 50% portion of that, so we should see that. It's already in, okay, good, so, there for a while, I forgot, but, remembered it, so we got to take care of, I talked to you, she said, no problem, just give them a list, got that taken care of. Last meeting, we spoke about slowing the fiber conduit, that was 65. This crew came in last Monday, they got here Monday about 10 o'clock, they were done by noon on Wednesday. So the 288 pound fiber is all the way down under 65 and sitting at Jefferson. We had to take blue ball, do some trenching for us, get to the hole that we needed to do, or get to, that's all done, conduits there, so Shane started working on the splice assignments. The fiber is also into the lift stations as well. So hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, we have the lift stations online with SCADA and fiber network will be all good. But these guys are fascinating with what they do. They said we would never got.
so I'm coming broken. Pulled apart sections.
I think there was one that they found, Phil, and one they're not for sure what it is, because there was one spot where they use about 750 psi as air going through the conduit, and when they hooked, because there were two conduits, and they were hooked on one, and the air was flowing out of the other. And so that's the one, and they got the fiber through there somehow. But I think they made one repair, didn't they?
Yeah, the area you're talking about, when we was blowing strings, there's a section we couldn't get, so we routed it, found it. That morning we went out to check them out. He told us he was going to use our conduits. We had strings in, so they knew this true. But he said he decided against that since we had that effort. And now the strings were there in the spare. So he used the other one, and it makes sense the way he's saying. He's thinking maybe when they couple it, they had to cut to get water main through. When they couple it back together, the compression couplings that use on the interduct, if you didn't get your pipe flush, then when we went through there with our mouse or that rotter, it was probably beating off of it. And then after looking at the paint marks after we rotted it, kind of makes sense, but he jetted right through, no problem. And then the other bad spot was on the west side 65, and I was there and I've got pictures of that. That was where they had put the conduit in, and then another contractor coming in to do some boring for another company, and they chewed through the walls of the pipe. So and that was when they dug that up, they had used that for the trash hole as well, and they were pulling out pieces of pipe from the sort of what was going on.
My question would be is, we paid an inspector to make sure this was.
And if once the conduits was put in, and then once Case drilled the fiber pipe, and then they was done, and then another outfit come in and do some boring for another company, and they set up there too.
The inspector was be out there for Case, Ross, whatever it was called. Case is the same inspector, right? That inspected all of that.
One inspector was there for water, and then sewer had their own inspectors. Multiple inspectors, actually, off and on.
Because we split the bill, right, Todd, we split the bill with the county on the inspections because we requested Wesley to be out there.
I do know that multiple times they came in and got repair pieces from our life. Mel was on the job. Robert,
Yeah, there's always a couple or something where they had to cut
if you'd like for us to do more homework to see what was repaired.
But I did the metal.
I know where you're going with it, yeah.
Right, I mean, you know, we paid this money and I mean, how much time did it take our water guys when the water line was full of mud? You know, now we turn around, we can't get the fiber through it.
100%.
So, you know, I think that's a conversation that we need to have with Wesleys on that side. I mean, we spent, how much time getting the water clear because water lines were that muddy. Yeah, how much water did we use?
Are you, might be able to something that you're working on some kind of a summary of all these inspection issues?
You can, I know Marty was, because it's his inspector. So then I'll go to Marty and see where he is at on it, because it's really their
Happy
responsibility
to let
to
you
do that,
know,
but,
but I think, like I think Ken said.
yes,
Needs to be some accountability here.
okay,
That's why we have inspections going on.
right, I understand that. But, yeah, last time I knew Marty was working on that, to get that, on all the things they found, like the good things they found. But
Yeah.
we have all kinds of issues with the water going on.
But you know, it's I stood at the water plant for over an hour. First 45 minutes, seeing no inspector. Talking to Chris and asked Chris, finally said, where's our inspector? 15 minutes later, he comes walking out of the trailer.
And there's a lot going on, but
All kinds of stuff going on. I purposely stood there to just see where this inspector was. I guarantee you, if you go out there to PJ, you're gonna see that inspector.
you know,
In 5 minutes
Well-
of being there, I see.
if you can track him down, he's somewhere in that huge job site. Yes, you're right. He's not sitting inside. I agree with that 100%. He's always running around somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we,
And you can also tell by the reports.
you know, we've had issue that they want us to pay for the mud mats out there. You know, I'll go back, that to me, that's an inspector's issue out there. That, you know,
I addressed all that. Just while you were there.
but, you know, they didn't like it. And we're gonna get back with this and so,
Like you said,
no, I know they don't like to stand on, you've got your homework done, but I mean, that's the stuff they want to try to pull. It should have never got to that point.
should not,
The inspector should have stopped it right then.
do not ask the question before that. It was made.
So these projects just ain't, I mean, between PJ and Chris, it's the top. These projects are not just the walking park. I mean,
It's hard for us to keep up with inspection.
yeah,
I mean, it really
it
is.
is. And that's why we pay this money for these inspectors, split the money with the county for $28.65, and now we still have to not have these problems where it frees your guys' time up. But look what we got.
I got 3 more inspectors to watch on a daily basis. Right now.
Babysitting job.
No, there's, some of them are good though. I mean, honestly, they are.
You can't have Eric.
The one that was on in charge of the new water. Can't think of his name.
When we met,
No, the one we met out there, He's from Richmond.
Oh, Lucas.
Lucas,
Lucas was good. Yeah,
He's good. but he's still,
Why do they keep changing your inspector?
I have one for the plan, I have one for State Road 28, I have one for 750, and I have one for the tower. And I get to deal with it.
We only got to keep track of one.
Well, there's been 2 or 3 out of 65 for sure. Off and on, a couple on the front. Because they were trained.
there is a problem with the sewer too. Where they went under the road, went 20 feet down to the road, there's a joint that passed the air test, but when the candidates, and they wanted to come in and put a small patch in place, and everybody's been with the government, and told them that it's not acceptable. It's a sleep, everything, but I have to pull it back out. But it's 65? No, it's under 800.
The rubber, they didn't sew it up. It didn't pass the air test.
I was told it did pass the air test. And they never, the guy said that it did pass the air test, and never seen that it passed an air test, but it won't, but it's leaking water.
Yeah, the other guy.
And they tried to get around it. Told me the other day, they came to Marty, figure out and put it back right. So, but, small section of patching.
The, I guess the Williams County Water Tower, do we have fiber terminating at that location?
Yes, there's a handle right there for two.
Is that east or west of Williams County?
It'll be east and it'll be in the southeast quadrant of 65. You know where that radio or the tower is out there behind Good to Go? It'll be right there close to that. So yes, we do have a way to get fiber to it, to the rail with the splice box or hand radio. Yeah. Yeah, that was purposely put there. A box there for the.
So we're done blowing fiber, we're done blowing fiber.
No, exactly. It goes all the way under 65 to the lift station. Now, there is a section where we came up short on pipe to get from the lift station further west. And we chose not to do that because right now there's no movement on there. NHK has to be on an AT&T fiber line, so they're not going to hook in right there. So we did stop at the lift station at this point in time. But it's a smaller run. If we would have to pull that, we can't. But right now, we don't have to do it. So.
Aren't they on Mintech now?
They're, yes, because they can't figure out how to get AT&T. Because AT&T wanted to put a conduit in the pipe, in the force main that runs under 65 in the city. They wanted to put an extra conduit there. Told them no, they tried to get our extra conduit off of us for nothing. Told them no. They said, you don't want to do business. I said, no, we got fiber too. Why not? At least it's our fiber off of us. They said no, so there's a new story. So what they're doing out there now is, I don't know how they're operating, or if they're still operating through this Mulberry. I think it was Mulberry. And tip on it's fine.
I do tip my Mintech.
They won't use any of it. They wanted their own AT&T fiber for whatever reason. They have opportunities.
It's only 5, so.
This time too, I got with Kim last week, looked at the fund report, and the balance was getting pretty high in the USB, so we took that money that we would normally transfer to the USB from the respective departments, divided it up, and put it into construction and depreciation of those respective departments to help. Since it was budgeted for, we just put it in basically our savings for things. So if you notice, there wasn't any USB transfers this month because we transferred the civil departments to help out there. Last thing is the letter that I passed out prior to that Alicia had worked on for East Meadows. This is just one of many that we're going out to homeowners to get their easements cleaned up so that we can get in there and do some free treatment. And I passed it out so that you guys could take a look at it and answer the questions in the next day or so, a couple of days after you get a chance to read the whole thing. I read through it, didn't have any problem with any of the verbiage. Just states what we really need, what the law says that we can do, so.
What area is this? Is this,
It would be the west side, right there in between, where Scott Howard lived. It's in between East Meadows and their property right there. The east
just back to the south end,
yes, all the way to the south end, and curves around. And
then it goes to all the way to east to their east property line.
no, it doesn't, the lines don't go that far. It's about, I would say, a third of the way around there. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, but there's a section of, from what he's describing, there's a section of, first come off the highway, that's going to be the houses on 28, and goes back on these meadows.
But right now, it's a mess. It's unfortunate the easement's on that side, not Chuck's side, because it's wide open. We did get permission to go through there one day when that little bitty ice storm came through the spring. He gave us permission to go through their yard, but we had to get the street department floor to go out there and fix it. But we got to take care of it. But this out here is a mess. It's just.
Is everybody comfortable? I guess ask the issue. I have to really read this to understand, and I don't know what I do. I'm not even sure in the letter we're actually asking them to do.
The second page, I believe right before the end, it says, please, I think, I don't have it in front of me, but,
Well, it kind of say ask.
yes,
Second, the last paragraph.
yeah. So, I'm sending letters to all property owners affected and asking you to please remove any property or structures located within the utility easement so after you may perform routine maintenance. Should you elect to keep your property or structures located in the utility easement, after you will be forced to remove the property or structures when performing routine maintenance. It's on the first page, second paragraph. And then at the end, I say, I give the quote from the actual plat. So that's the language from the plat. And I say, should you have any permanent structures located within the easement, we will be required to remove those structures if they interfere with the service. We ask for your cooperation. If you have any questions, call me. Basically.
So we put in there, we have to remove and get their cost.
We can. Sure.
I mean,
We're not putting that. Once we move it, we're not putting that.
I mean, if we gotta move something that they, any part or something, I mean,
There's
that's something our
many
guys,
parts are there.
we gonna go in there and move them, or we gonna have to hire them?
We don't have any way to move it.
Right, so I mean, if we have to hire it done, there's never complication. I know, not me personally, but I know people who have mini bars in their property. They may be illegal, and they subsequently bury electricity to the mini bar. We wouldn't know that, or if we hire a contractor with a messy first tractor and a chain, we may not know that, or chain. So this could lead to unexpected consequences pretty easily.
Good. I mean, the bottom line is we have an easement. If they're infringing on it, we have the right to move their stuff. I personally am not the person to ask about whether or not buried electric lines would be there. I would look toward Phil for that. But,
From what we've seen, I
you
don't
know.
think there are any of that. We have a lot of expenses, private expenses, and there are a couple of mini sheds, but I really don't.
So what, I'm okay with this letter. I do think cost occurs to these property owners.
I will add language that says that if we are required to remove the property, we will send them a bill for the cost associated with the removal.
And then I would ask if we should give them a date, like 60 days.
We don't know yet, that's right. We don't-
Well, I mean, basically, we're just asking them, we don't have like a deadline because we don't really need to be back there at any specific point, do we?
We could be back here tomorrow. That's not
So
bad.
do you want a specific date?
That's probably not bad idea.
Okay,
We have-
what date do you want?
I think what they call encumbered access. So we get a windstorm Friday night and our guys are out there at midnight.
Yeah.
There's this mini bar.
In the way, right?
We are going to be calling you.
I would
could.
Give them
Well, I mean, I'm not
give them
gonna
60 days.
But their thing
I'm
is,
strong,
they
I'm
need,
not that
they
strong.
need to be contacted. You need to give Todd's number.
Todd's number,
I mean, they don't need to be calling you.
I
And then
mean,
that person wanna say,
Sure.
okay, show me where the easement is and what needs
I'm
to be
going
moved.
to send them a copy of the easement with the letter. So I'm gonna send them a copy of the actual plat, I'm gonna highlight where the easement is, and then I'm gonna also send them a copy of the language from the plat, and highlight the language that says that we have the easement.
Because there's actually three easements out there. Two of them come between the houses and the other one goes behind.
Would it be wise to maybe go out and mark the easements so that they know where they are exactly?
If they need help, I would say after they get the map and everything, if they need help, they can call me. We'll walk them.
Okay.
Because some of those people probably, they probably don't know it because they want, those are not the original owners of Monday.
No, you guys are, a lot of them was already there and everything else, so they don't know.
Okay, so we want to add that it's going to be at their expense, we want 60 days, we want to add Todd's number of accounts, if there's something else you said that I don't have on this list. The cost will be their expense.
Thanks a lot.
Huh. You have a lot of fun with this,
No.
didn't I?
I'll go see Gladys.
That's aside with me, he's on vacation right now, so,
I
okay.
have one, from a practical standpoint, question on all this. So we have these utility easements, and you're addressing them in this neighborhood kind of en masse.
Yeah.
In the language, no pervious pressure of any kind. In no part thereof.
Mhm.
Except fences.
Yeah, so that's
What's up with that?
the plat language, that's what we've got. So the thing is, they can put a fence up, but we can't move the fence. So they can't have mini barn. They can't have a shed, they can't have anything that's gonna be a permanent structure there, except for they are allowed to have fences.
We're not asking them to move a fence.
Permanently, no, but they need to know that if we need to get in there, we can take the fence down.
Yeah, it's not our responsibility.
And it's not our,
Put it back.
right, and it's not our expense, and we don't pay for any of
You
it.
clarify.
I did not want to clarify that super well in the letter because I'd rather them move their fences. But, I can't unquote the plat, so I had to go with what the plat said. So yeah, but I read that also and I thought that was really unfortunate the way in which they worded it, but again, it's done now.
So a broader question is this type of issue prevalent across Frankfurt or just this neighborhood?
No, there's a lot of it, especially in the,
National homes.
national homes back in there, the Rissy Edition back in there. But national homes is bad.
So are we looking down a slippery slope here where residents know each other to talk? I got a letter, well, I did get a letter.
I mean, I think we're targeting this specific neighborhood, and that's why I'm going to send it to all of the people in the neighborhood, that this affects. But the bottom line is this, if we have an easement, by law, they are not allowed to put, I mean, you can, for example, if you want to pave an alleyway that's by your house, you may pave the alleyway, but if you need to get under the alleyway and you destroy my beautiful black pavement I just put down, that's my problem. So I can't obstruct you from utilizing that easement. So basically, it's just putting them on notice, like I said, kind of friendly, that this is an issue. Theoretically, we don't have to send them a letter, we could just go in and start moving their stuff. I mean, that's our right under law, we're deciding not to do that. So yes, it could theoretically be a slippery slope, but I think as we find places like this, we can start sending letters to homeowners that are impacted, and just now that we've got kind of a letter to go off of, we can just revise the letter to each homeowner and send them off as needed. But
And I
yeah,
understand we can't do the whole city at once.
sure. I mean,
Yeah,
we
start
could,
somewhere.
but that would be a
Starting somewhere makes sense.
lot of
I
effort.
like friendly approach, so yeah.
So
We're
once we get our 60 days,
So,
what are we gonna go in there and do to
Yeah.
show that we are
Which is-
doing something?
I think we go in and start moving, so we get in there. let them know
I
we're
mean,
gonna do it.
the other
I
option,
mean, are we got poles to change out? What's
Trees,
back?
It's just.
first thing, protect the trees.
Yeah, it's to get the trees, get them on the line, because every storm, well, somewhat every storm, we had troubles back there. You know, we get one customer tree fell. And he's been actually, waiting for this lender to get there. Because he keeps his claim, but the rest of the people don't.
Is that who those letters?
No, that was
No, I
just the
got
first
his
person
name.
on the call.
I got his name on it.
I started to see.
No, I just started with the first house. So whoever the owner was, I went on Beacon and grabbed the address, and that's where we started.
Is 60 days too long?
Well, and the other question is, do you want to go in, since we're sending a friendly letter and we're not putting any, like, if you don't do this, we'll go in on day 61 and we'll move stuff. Do you want to do that, or do you want to knock on the door? And say,
Do I think we'll do that? I can go and tell them what day we're coming.
I think that would be a better.
Hopefully they get in there and do that.
We gave you- We gave you 60 days. Now we're friendly knocking on your door. You didn't move it. We just went back there. It's still there. You need to move it within whatever.
Yeah, because we're coming on next day.
I think that's probably a good idea.
I'd say we give them 45 days and
Fine.
tell them we're gonna start the work in 60 days.
That's fine with me too.
I mean, 60 days, you're talking 2 months, you're talking here on first of November. Really, for the day. And you
That's
don't get
better,
that.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do 45 days and that we will start work on 60 days. I'll send the letter back to you.
Okay. And then Bill will have to just plan on 60 days. Each meadow.
Said Robert.
Okay.
Are you gonna be on vacation?
Anything else?
Anything else that anybody wants me to add to it?
It's good. I'm good with that.
Great, thank you.
Claims, I don't leave yet. There might be some questions.
I'll be right here.
I got one that needs pulled under wastewater treatment plant. WIN-911, in the amount of $660. We need to remove that claim, take it out.
That was you have to.
With that taken out, I'll make a motion, we approve the claims as amended.
I got a question on
Let's do his question first.
Okay.
2 backflow inspections, $500.
We have a, it's certified, we don't have gauges or anything that show reliability testing. I did not get a quote for that, and they probably will not be getting those.
What I'm asking.
That's the issue. Is that suffice? Okay.
So we got to pay this one, but it won't be again. So we go to different contractor versus buying equipment is better.
I'll just use a different backflow testing.
Very good.
How much?
We agree with the square.
Really fantastic professional equipment. It doesn't. It's opposite. Set of gauges, so kind of like air conditioning. That kind of stuff.
All right, we have a motion by Mike Reeder to approve the claims as amended. Second by Rick. Roll call.
Joe Ruth,
Aye.
Rick Henning, Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Ed Ward. Mark Taylor.
Aye. Legal briefs, are there anything that,
Only I'm working on that clean out resolution. I didn't have a chance to get it finished. I had stuff all day today. So I will get that done before the next meeting and get it emailed to Todd and we'll get that done so we can get back to the city.
Send that to Jim too.
Okay.
If you would.
old business? It's kind of old business. Especially as I listened to the meeting tonight, it's just really, again, important to remember that each one of these people up here has something that they're kind of watching over. Because we got there are a lot of projects going on, and the managers out here need to feel free to contact them whenever there's a question. It seems like that's going on, so I appreciate it. I think as a board, we appreciate what they're doing, and the work you guys are doing, they're just, it's unbelievable how many things are going on that have utilities involved in this community right now. And we hear complaints about veterans contractors and all of these other Milestone and all those people that work on these roads. But actually, we don't hear the complaints about our utilities, our locator. He gets there before the other guy gets there almost every time. And if we hadn't done a locator, we'd be in big trouble right now.
We've got a lot of people signed up to it. You're right. And he's getting it done. He's jolly on the spot. He does.
So hats off to you guys. And I appreciate you guys watching over these areas. Thank you.
I just have a quick follow-up. I agree with what Mike said, for what Mike 2 cents or my 1 penny to it. There's a saying in business, we want to catch people doing something right. I've only been a member of this board since 2015, but I started attending utility board meetings in 2004, maybe 8 or 10 years. I've rarely missed a utility board meeting, sitting out in the audience. And from my perspective, by far and away, not the bad amount our prior department heads in the past, they're fine for that time. We had the best team of department heads and superintendents this utility board, this utilities have ever had since I've been around. And I think we're in a fantastic spot. And it's because of the people that we have here in the departments, including Utah. So, and Stacy including you. So we're in a great spot.
Yeah, they're great people to work with. We got a good group of them.
Great best.
We're making progress every day.
In a new business, it's that time of year when the budget, the kid's got some ideas and some things that he wants to make sure everybody knows about budgeting. So go for it, Ken.
Todd and I ain't talking much more than anything, and we haven't even really put a date due to the fact that so much going on. What's our date that we gotta have into the council?
November 5th, or second meeting in November, I believe, because we got that, it was October, I believe, but we talked to them, remember last year, because we're looking at our revenues, and it's different than the tax dollars coming in, they gave us, I think, until November 15th, or their second meeting, first meeting in November, I believe is what.
Well, I talked to Judy today, she's under the impression it still has to.
We gotta change it to
That's
go into November.
That's fine.
I recall it being the second meeting in November.
Yeah.
For that very reason. You said, we'll be record of somewhere.
Right.
I'll be up there tomorrow.
But anyway, it's coming, folks.
Yeah, it'll be coming. One of my thoughts, what we would do is like we did at the last meeting, is we would, instead of having everybody come to a special meeting starting at 6 o'clock, we would set a PJ, Jim, maybe Stacy for one meeting as a special meeting to go have them present and go over with us, and then Todd go over. Then the following meeting, we would turn around and do it with the rest of them that are left, split up the departments. That's, you know, and then we're doing from 6, it makes us get done by 6:45, and we can we'll go over them, have any questions with them. We'll have to set our time so that we get that done. The third meeting after that, we can agree.
If that's it, if we can go to the council the second meeting in November, do we want to go for the first meeting in October to do that? Because if we can get them, know that we'll have the second meeting in September. If we stagger them from one meeting to the next, that would give us the first one in October to do the second group, then for a full discussion, second meeting in October, and then maybe approve them the first meeting in November, ready for the council. Does that make sense?
I think that's dragging it out too.
Okay,
Once we get it, we'll
shoot for the first meeting in October then. And, well, you and I will be talking for that anyways, we can, so, okay.
Any other new business? I feel a follow-up. Probably mostly, and have you folks that look into this, maybe that way, the disparity, apparent disparity between stormwater, wastewater treatment program, and water program, which we thought should be tracking together.
Well, we talked about that, and it's hard, we would have to, there's some good users out there that don't come to us, but especially Frito Let, they're using 1.3 million a day, and we don't get the wastewater. So it would be harder to track, but, we can throw them out, and well, now ADM is processing some of their own too, which is a good user, so we would have to take those two out and start making that comparison tracking. But we can't.
I don't know if it's far enough apart that we're concerned about it. It's far enough apart, but those are two big users. You know, what's free to get way used in water a day? 1.3 and million, you know, so that's 25% of total water,
Closer to
40%. Well, yeah, have I been working on that? Yeah. Okay. I've got a lot of information. Stacy, Andrew's got me different stuff, putting them together. There's trends there that don't work. And I, you know, I'm going to just go back right now and just give you my opinion on that. We got a very bad rate study to read. I'm going to just tell you right now.
And Lamb's looking at that way.
Right. So there's where we're at. So we've reached out to have, that would be one big way of explaining. Right. I mean, I can, that is what I've come to the conclusion on it. Is it, you know, until we have other stuff out of it, it just ain't working with the expenses.
The final paperwork that signed, just states that from that, the indication of their accuracy of the work. Because that was really.
So, you know, what we can do about it.
But we have a second part, looking at that rate study, see it.
Isn't the city still using reading?
Yes,
Are they aware of this?
yes.
Yes. Yes, we have met, but Big Beardsley, Eric, Meg, who?
Brand Ford was here? No, who was it?
Meg.
I don't know.
And the mayor. And so, you know, it's all, you know, they're aware of it. Yeah. I got one other thing. Obviously, and this is probably directed more toward pollution. I know Todd's done some, you know, on the, what is it, the 1st of September, the federal COVID thing changes where you get the pay, or are we operating off of what the city changed to on July 1?
That's what I'm offering, what the city changed to, they asked us to follow them, so I'm following along with them.
Okay, has all of our employees been sent that notice that came out on July 1, and every one of them told that that's how it is being operated?
They have not. I can make sure that we start getting the copies out tomorrow. So we have a couple guys that fell under that, explained it to them, and we have not had any issues with it at this point. They knew that they were on sick leave. We actually have one guy right now that does have it, and they're using their sick leave at this point.
If we're gonna, if we need to communicate to our employees, that is that the type of communication we should be having them sign an acknowledgement paper?
I believe there was a signature spot on there, wasn't there,
Not for employees, the one that was sent to me.
Okay.
It only had 2 of the Board of Works people sign it. You know, and I guess that's why I'm bringing that up, you know, I mean, we're following that same thing that the rest of the city employees are going with, to effect July 1st.
Which I didn't get it until August.
Right. And I didn't get, yeah, you got it August the 4th and I got it August the 7th.
Yeah.
Right, well, see, that's what I'm bringing it up is do we want to bring that into here? You know, obviously, we're operating off of it, but in all respect to every employee out there, if I was an employee out there, I'd want to know what it was, or are we still following the federal guidelines that,
I thought those expired.
no, they expired the end of this month.
Oh, they
1st of
did.
September, end of August.
I thought it expired back in May.
Could we bring it before the board next meeting, make sure that we get it?
My advice would be that if that's our employees, our board should make that determination, and our board, if we want to follow what the city does, fine. If we want to do our own thing, that's fine too, but you are the ones that manage those, I mean, Todd manages the employees, so therefore I would say that that would be a decision that would need to come before our board and should be voted on by our board. And then I would prefer to see something signed by the employees to acknowledge receipt of it, because it does impact them financially.
Oh, yes.
So, do I think that anybody's gonna sue us? No, I don't, because that's, I mean, it's our prerogative, but it would be better if they signed it. Now, if it's gonna be a huge pain in the rear end to get everybody to sign it, then we don't have to, but that would be my preference. And then we should stick those in a file
Right.
or in the employees' personnel files,
Okay.
if possible. That would be my preference. I could be persuaded to do it differently, but that would be my preference.
I'll get everybody a copy of what I sent him, first thing in the morning, so you guys can read what the city's doing. So I apologize for that. But
We have a resolution that we,
So if we do a resolution, then it could go in and put it in.
And then we
Because, I
should-
mean, it's not gonna go away.
You're right.
I
and then
mean,
we
it's
just
gonna be,
hopefully acknowledgement form.
I really like that idea, really. This, not only our employees, but their families, whose income depends on their job. Just in fairness to everybody, as complicated as this has been for the past 2 years.
I agree.
Why not?
I think as you're running this as, I mean, this is a business, and for my personal business, we're gonna send out a memo to our own employees. So, yeah, a written, not just.
Yes, yes.
So I think that's a good idea. So if you wanna get me the information, I'll make a resolution. And
Okay.
then employee acknowledgement, get that.
You'll have it before you get in.
And one time I did it, setting lofty goals for me.
3.5 hours. Everything starts early.
Won't be in that early. I got kids.
we could actually get the moment to put the motion so that we move forward now. But wait, let's get the resolution. The resolution will do that.
With regard to COVID, are there any other topics on that respect that we want to discuss? Rick and I were discussing before the meeting, there are, as of right now, I haven't seen the governor extend the, emergency order. But if that does happen, we can move back to fully, virtual meetings if we need to, if the Delta variant gets too bad. If it doesn't happen, we can pass a policy of, there's a new statute pertaining to meetings and virtual meetings, how many people have to attend and that sort of thing, that we could pass a policy adopting that as an option for people. I think that people can attend virtually if they want to, but there's a limit to the number of times that they can, and then there are certain things they cannot vote on, but they can participate for the most part in the meeting, and I believe that for most things there are left though. So that's something we could adopt if we wanted to, but I don't know if we need to. As long as the emergency order extends, we can pretty much do whatever we want as long as there's need for participation.
we passed something.
for virtual
So
meetings.
virtual meetings, several,
That was before that person wasn't allowed to vote.
Right. They changed the statute this
Right.
year. So I mean, so we could pass something with the updated statute. I know we have a virtual meeting that they can call in or whatever. But I think we previously weren't allowed to by statute, we weren't allowed to vote.
right,
And I don't think you can be counted as close present either. For purposes of the statute. And they recently changed it. So up to you guys if you want to do something, but I just thought I'd bring that.
I mean, Cassius was rented Steve Beardsley go to city council.
Yeah.
That's when it was, because he was gone away and at that time, he got counted as at the meeting.
Right.
So that had
I
been
think-
just in the last year that they changed the statute.
Well, they didn't, I don't think that, I think it depends on whether you're present or absent, depends on the rules of the board as to whether or not they were counted present. Because I know that we had an issue where people were out for trips and things like that, and they would call in. And I think that we counted them not as both present, but we put them in the minutes that they attended virtually. Because I think our bylaws didn't have real clarity on that. I think was the issue. Because it depended on the bylaws and stuff. Long story short, there's a new statute though, so you want the updated language. they're kind of-
Why don't you have that ready to do, pass out to us? Not that, then we'll
And
make
then
a
you can
decision.
decide if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm fine here.
That's fine.
I'll move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye. Chip, aye.
Joe, I said Joe can do it.